We're doing it live. What's going on, guys? This Dealer here back again with yet another episode of RDX Podcast, the weekly show where you tune in for all the latest gaming news and more. Of course, we're running a little bit late because, well, D's a human, and, he was a little late. We'll just blame it all on him, even if he was the first one here. We got a pretty big panel today, and we're going to start by introducing people, as always. We got a lot of great topics, some breaking information on some games, stuff like that, and, of course, what I like to call the Xbox problem. We're going to talk about this article that I've been requested to talk about a lot, discuss at length. Once again, we call it the Xbox problem. We're going to talk about it, our thoughts on it, and of course, probably destroy this article. So bear with us. So we'll start by introducing Luca. How you been? Thanks for joining up.
Hey, what's up, man? I am doing good. I'm excited to talk about these topics tonight. I think they're really good. I think we're going to have a good time. I'm happy to see that some of my bros are here. And yeah, let's do it, bro.
And we got K-Mega, special guest. Thanks for showing up, man.
Oh, no problem, man. Yeah, just anytime you want me to come through, say what's happening to the RDX. What the hell? What is this show? I do so many shows, man. I don't know. It's
That's
the
first, Megan. I'm not gonna forget that. The chat's gonna get you for that one.
Yeah, they're gonna fire me up.
Thanks for showing up, bud. We also got special guest Cognito, Lord Cognito. Thanks for coming on, bud.
Absolute pleasure, Lords of the Real Deal. Absolute pleasure, and Lady Luca herself. And you already know, huge fan. And let's get into these topics and talk some gaming.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, and we'll get some more information on this stuff at the end of the show, as we always do. But Cognito runs a podcast. I did an episode there. It was a good time. So definitely stay tuned. We'll get all that information out there to people. We also got Cole Eastwood, the veteran. Thanks for showing up again. Oh wait, hang on. You're the naughty dog of YouTube now.
Yeah, the most dangerous, the king of Sting, and the naughty dog of YouTube. Yeah, excited to be here because this is a panel where we get to talk to the good side of the community, the happy side. So I'm excited to be here.
The positive but critical side. That second part's very important. But man, there's two sides to every coin, right? Cyrus Burke in the super chat, he already says CSD is going to be lit. That is all. Thank you so much, bud. So yeah, we got D-Batch as well, man. You told me to wait till last. You done eating your macaroni?
Yeah, I'm done eating my macaroni. And I got to say, when I signed the contract to do the show in section 4.1a, there's a clause in there for CP time, okay? So I cannot be held responsible.
Okay? Yeah, we're glad you remember, man. Thanks for showing up. As you always do. Michael Chichillo, that name always gets me, man. You're always in the super chat every show, but the name always gets me. Thanks, bud. He just said just to start the show off right. We appreciate it. Hey, I also got a Patreon giveaway real quick. I told these guys I'd do this last week. Had some technical errors in the middle of switching to a new PC and stuff like that. So I did want to get the giveaway out there, and I want to do it at the beginning so those people don't have to wait. Chris Brooks wins a copy of the game of his choice. So he had a choice between Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Witcher 3 Complete Edition, Cuphead, a lot of different games. So I'll definitely be reaching out to you, Chris, on Patreon if you're not watching. So hopefully
that's a good selection, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I spent a lot of money on it, and that's what I was saying to the Patreon. When people support that, I can put that back into the giveaways and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a pretty good selection of games. I actually wanted to start by talking about a little bit of Sony news, right? We're getting the ability to change our names on PSN. This has been a long time coming. There's some guy out there that's been Dildo Gaggins for 10 years now, and he's ready to change his name after 10 years. And
Big X, little X, Dildo Gaggins, Big X, little X. 420 YOLO swag.
It's a great thing, right? So I know a lot of guys are happy about this. I think Sony, we're talking about this a while ago. They're going to bring this. So Dildo Gaggins can now become someone else. And they probably got 35 million people ready to change their 2006 gamer tag, So what do you think about this game, Meg? You think it's a great idea? Obviously, I feel like it is.
I'm sorry. I was talking to my old lady while you
Oh, no. All right. We're skipping K-Mega. D, what do you think about this?
Finally, it's about time. I don't understand what was so hard for them to implement this. But I want to know, is it going to be free or are they going to charge?
If they're smart, they'll charge. Yeah. You got to remember, business people forget a business is about making money, right? So you're going to charge for this.
I think
we talked about this.
One free, right? One free one, right? Your first one is free.
You get a free one. I guess that'll be the better question. Are they going to start you off with a free one, or are you going to pay from day one? I don't know. But it's a good idea. Mega, are you ready? Are you ready now, man? Are you in the? Are you in the show?
I'm ready. I mean,
Right.
she wanted to just keep talking. I said, I'm just doing a podcast. I mean,
he was texting Rachel Maddow.
What do you think about this?
You
changed your PSN ID from what was it, Fuzzy Chew Toy 7 or whatever you told me it was the other day?
No. It was a Brown Chew Toy 24. That was on my Xbox. My PlayStation name was a Sooner something. I don't know. It's been a long time. So, it's about time. It's definitely been long overdue, especially going back to the days of when people got hacked. I know I was one of them, and and a lot of people didn't get a chance to do that, to get their name changed at that time, and now they're going to get to do it. I mean, if it's going to be free, then that's excellent. I don't know if they were going to charge for it or not. I think it would suck if they would charge it, especially as long as people have been waiting for it. So it's kudos. It's fantastic, man.
People have been waiting a while. I guess that's kind of a good point, but I ain't getting criticized for charging for it. Maybe give someone. It's been so long. I doubt they even give you a free one, to be honest, because they know how much money that is. Could you imagine? You got 36 million people times 10. You're making a shit ton of money there, just for name changes. I don't know, man.
Really
I doubt
favors. They really are. They're in the system where they don't need to do any favors. But the funny thing about it's been 10 years. How long has this PSN thing been going on?
Yeah, a little over 10 years.
Yeah, 10 or 12 years. And, the funny thing about that is if we think back 10 or 12 years, a good majority of the people had a funny name like that is probably pretty dated. Like, the 420 YOLO slag type stuff. Whatever was popular back then. Yeah. It's, I think, you could look at 20 million people probably want to change their name right now, at least. And that's a lot. That's a good chunk of money.
Got a few of them in the chat right now too. Let us know if you're one. You got a PSN name that's old.
Personally, I don't have a problem with my PSN name. However, I do want to change it for consistency, so I can be the Ash and Luca on my Xbox and my PlayStation, YouTube, Twitter. Just for that consistency's sake.
What is your PSN name?
Lucy Quinn.
Lucy Quinn. Yeah. Mine was, I don't remember, man. I started it, 12 years ago, and I just made a new one. I've only got a few games on that account, so it's one of those things where I just kind of started over because I don't really care about trophies that much, Yeah. It's just the dealer. I think that's what it is. So.
Yeah, I'm going to change this one. Because I haven't had my PlayStation for a year yet. My PlayStation 4 I haven't had it even a year, but I'll try to come with a different name because I was kind of trying to hide away from the fanboys, but it didn't work. So I'm just going to go back to just being K-Mega405.
They found you. And I just realized we're talking about names right now. So I'm going to change the topic real quick. I'm sure nobody else gives a fuck about this, but hey, it's cool, right? We got a lot of great topics to talk about. Starting with Spyro. Apparently that's Activision, right, Colt, or is that Insomniac?
It's Activision. I checked it. I looked it up.
Okay, so Activision, apparently they own Crash, they own Spyro now, and we all know Crash came to the PlayStation. For some reason, never came to the Xbox. There's no real reason. Crash has been on the Xbox in the past, and they just didn't bring this one. I'm thinking through some kind of financial incentive is the only thing that makes sense. They're Activision. As I said last week, I think it was, Activision never say, that's enough money, right? They keep going, and they keep digging. So... Why? It's rumored that the Spyro trilogy, this remaster, is not coming to Xbox either. Why do you think that is, Cognito?
That's interesting. Yeah, this is news to me. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense from a third-party perspective, obviously, not to have it on the platform. So I'm a little surprised by this news, but I'm very curious to see what that relationship is internally as far as like how the deal was made. So yeah, that is kind of surprising that it wouldn't be on an Xbox platform at this point.
Yeah, Top Dog says Spyro. Yeah, Spyro. I don't, and what's really funny about it, you got the laugh emojis there. What's really funny about it is why would they not put this on every platform? That's kind of like, why not?
Today somebody told me that Sony actually paid for 1 year exclusivity on Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I don't know where they got that source.
There's no evidence 1 year, but yeah.
What the year would come up in what, March?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then they kind of reiterated. They said, "Hey, we're going to bring it to PC and Switch," but they still didn't mention Xbox.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
We've talked about that. Like, it really only you can't, it's not even a conspiracy. The only thing you're led to believe is that Sony paid a little extra to keep it off of Xbox. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's Activision. I mean, if it were some small team, I'd be like, all right, they're saving resources, maybe bringing it later. But you know, it's Activision. They never do this.
Yeah, weird.
Right. So
that's just weird to think that Sony would say, "Hey, here's some extra money if you don't bring it to one of our competitors." You know,
I see Sony being little. I see Sony being like that, man. To be honest with you.
Why though? I mean, why do you think that is, D?
They just, I don't know, they're just nasty. Like, remember the launch of the Xbox One? Like, this is how we share games. They just like to take.
Yeah, but that's just kind of like competition, bro. Like, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Xbox has taken their shots here and there as well. So it's just how it is. I'm with you guys. I think it's like a monetary reason. I think the only reason they're not bringing it is because they got thrown some extra cash, and you know, whatever, that's fine. It's like, first of all, I mean, who really asked for a Spyro remake or remaster or whatever? But I mean, I liked Spyro when I was like 12. Yeah, I thought that was a great game. And if it looks hot and I want to go back and play it or whatever, I'll just play it on my PlayStation. It's not a big deal for me, but I just think that it's probably just because of money.
Yeah. But you see the difference when you look at Dead Rising 4 and Rise of the Tomb Raider. They were announced with the caveat right out front and communicated that this is a 1-year exclusive title on the Xbox and that it'll come to PS4. Like that was out front. But with Crash Bandicoot, it's like it's on PS4 and
yeah. But if you think about their other deals, right? Take Destiny for instance, right? The first Destiny. I had no idea that was on Xbox. Because when I would go to GameStop and see the signs, it'd be like Destiny exclusive on PlayStation, and then you look, you know, like this fine print. It says exclusive gun. I'm like, oh, okay.
Exclusive skin to a skin.
And, you know, and no casual is going to look that closely at that stuff. You know what I mean? It's all about perception. And PlayStation, you know, I'm not saying that like they're the only ones who do this. A lot of companies do this, but PlayStation has done that before where they just make something seem like it's only on their platform, or they haven't announced, hey, we're doing this deal with this person and it's not coming to these other platforms.
It's aggressive marketing, you know. I think Sony had the best marketing team, and we've all said this, right? We say this because we want the Xbox marketing team to step it up, stop spending all that budget on waffle makers, put it into commercials and other things that would help. And you know, Sony do that well, down to their music, to, you know, whatever the guy they have in charge. You know, I don't know, man.
But how many people were so upset and crying foul over the way that it said console preview exclusive on PUBG? Remember how that went on?
I just think. Sorry.
What is this? What kind of trickery is this?
I just think Sony is petty, to be honest with you. They're petty like that. Look at Destiny. 2-year exclusive content.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
They're just petty.
I don't personally, I don't really care. Spyro came out back in '98. I mean, I was too grown for it then. I'm too grown for it now. I mean, the fact of it is that it might appeal to some people, but then in with the smart money, I'm kind of glad if Microsoft didn't spend the extra money, because it wouldn't sell on the Xbox.
Who cares? Who wants this game?
Yeah, it's going to look good, and I mean, and it's great to add to the PlayStation portfolio because it came on the PlayStation originally, so it's a smart move, and it'll tug on the nostalgia strings. But the one problem is that, again, you're paying for a remake when, you know, while Xbox fans are getting backwards compatibility, if they already have that game is free. So I just, you know, I wouldn't spend the extra money for it anyway.
An old game like that, it's almost a wash. Like, do you want better visuals, or you just want the one you already bought that you'll put the same amount of time in?
Yeah, I think it's just aggressive marketing. I mean, at the same time, like, I personally do not care about this game that much, but at the same time, I do understand that the casuals, the person that doesn't know, would assume that this is just only, there's no way they can get it on another platform. So, I mean, at some point, it is petty, but I can't knock them for trying to keep the boot on the neck as far as the mind share.
They're just doing their job, right? If Microsoft's locked this stuff down, we wouldn't be saying much, you know, because we're like, hey, it's marketing. But at the same time, Colts, right? They do usually announce that, right? Hey, it's a year, right? And they aren't doing this, so it's kind of odd. It's Activision, but at the end of the day, it's Spyro. You know, like Top Dog was laughing. Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. So it's one of those things where who cares, right?
Yeah.
DBZ Fighters, the player base has already dropped off over 80% on PC. On PC. And this is a reason that a lot of console guys just like gaming on console, right? The communities last a little longer. There's more players, right?
Oh yeah, especially with fighting games.
You're a PC dick licker. What do you think about this?
Savage shots fired early.
I'm kidding. What do you think about this, D?
You know what? PC gamers, I don't know, man. They're different. They don't appreciate. I don't know. They're just like not multiplayer kind of people. I don't know. Like even when you're playing online with them, they don't really talk. So I can see them losing interest in a game like this. I think fighters are more suited to the console, to be honest with you, just because of the player base. You just got a lot more people. So on PC, how many people really bought this on PC in the first place?
But I mean, I would imagine that the demand for a good fighter on PC would power the player base, and they're gone. You know, what are they playing? What are they playing instead? What's come out recently? We're like, like,
I've never really seen fighters do that well on PC, to be honest with you.
With a mouse and keyboard?
Maybe somebody can find those numbers. I'm not sure how well it's done on Steam or anything.
Yeah, you're right. Fighters don't do that well.
Yeah. Hey, we got to give a shout out to going on 500 people watching here soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. Hit that like button if you can. It really helps the show more than you know. So DBZ Fighters, 80% player base drop off on PC already. What is this, like a month in?
Not even.
Not even, bro.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Play some games.
It's a good game too. It's not like it's a bad game. It's good.
Yeah, it's not a bad game at all. It reviewed very well. The story is so corny, though. It's like you're fighting clones, and oh my god, the story's so bad. But it's one of those things where you play it for the mechanics, I guess, and it's got some of the best, so that's great.
The stories get better. The story, when you get to the villains, the story picks up and it's a little bit better, and you ain't got to go through that tutorial when you're playing with the hero side. And then the Android, it doesn't kick in and get better until towards the end. So when you first play it, it's absolute just cheese.
Let us know what you guys think in the chat. Shout out to Fonz. He couldn't be here today as another triple bypass vasectomy. You had one last week as well.
I can't be here.
Yeah, but
Fonz made it after all. Never mind. So you wait until I'm literally remembering to tell people why you're not here.
Oh boy. No, I snuck in. Yeah, I got a few minutes and stuff before I had to go, so I was like, you know what? Let me sneak in there because you got a great panel today. Awesome.
Yeah, we got quite a few people on the panel. Hey, anybody in here play Kingdom Come Deliverance? It just came out yesterday.
Yeah, I just picked it up.
Yes.
You have played it?
Yes. And I'm excited for this game. Now here's the thing. I was on the fence about it. But I watched a lot of videos last night, a ton of videos of people playing this game, basically outlining what the story's pretty much about, what you do in the game. And it just really intrigued me, especially because it gives me that whole, Elder Scrolls series vibe, and I've been longing for a game like that. But this is like Elder Scrolls times 20 because you have to watch everything you do in the game. You have to actually eat. You have to keep up your stamina.
If you eat too much, you'll slow down.
Yeah. And the combat system's a little wonky. I'm at the very beginning, but I gotta say though, from everything I've heard from people that I trust, they say that once you learn the combat system, it's very satisfying.
And as I kind of give my initial impressions, because I bought the game too, I want to let you know your mic's doing some weird Decepticon shit in the background a little bit. You sound like you're morphing into a fucking butterfly or something.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Still doing that?
It's not that bad.
It was like a connection thing. It's very low. They probably can't even hear it, but I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, that was my concern with the game. The combat looks a bit odd. So
well, here's what I think about the game, because I did pick it up. It is X enhanced. I tweeted about it. The game is super realistic. It is also a very old-fashioned RPG. They start out very slow, kind of like how maybe if you could imagine growing up in a village and all you got to do is watch cows take a shit in the field. Things are going to be a little slow, right?
Man, when do I get this game?
Yeah, I mean, it starts out slow. Your first kind of quest is to go fetch some money that's owed to you, and then buy something for your father, and then stuff happens from there. and it does start out kind of slow. It's going to be one of those games that doesn't hold your hand at all. So if you like that kind of stuff, it's going to be for you. For instance, you don't even know if you can talk to people unless you go up and click on them. It doesn't say press A to talk, any of that stuff, right? You can pick things up and search things. It doesn't say search. It just, you got to click on it and see. So it's a lower budget game, but it also runs in CryEngine. So there are parts of that game that can look absolutely phenomenal. There's other parts that don't look as great. So
yeah, that's what I noticed too. I looked at some of the textures, and some of it looks phenomenal. Some of the facial textures and stuff look amazing. And then when you look at some of the textures on a wall or something, it's like, okay, what is this? It's not up to par. But I got to say, the world is beautifully done. It really is. Despite all the little misses you have in the textures, it's really beautiful. I think the overall feel of the game, though, the tone you get from the very start with the story and everything, I like it. I personally think it's going to be a slow burn, but at the same time, it's going to be a rewarding one from what I hear from it.
Yeah, there's a lot of hours in this game.
Absolutely. I want to jump in real quick because I picked it up too. Shout out to Dilo on that one because I saw you tweeted it. So I'm like,
you got me to blame. I'm sorry.
So I figured, you know what, man? I'm Iron Lord's podcast. Why not? You know? So I'm definitely digging it. It's very immersive. The world definitely. I just love the whole set pieces. It's really nice. The facial animations. I mean, for the most part, the way the faces look are fantastic. Yeah. And there's some jank. I'm not gonna lie, there's some jank going on, but as far as like, it's definitely a more realistic Skyrim. The combat system definitely takes a while to get adjusted to, but it definitely looks like there's some depth and some complexity there. I will say this: when you guys, if you have it and you get to the part where you get out of the town, you finish running the kind of like the basic errands, the story really picks up and gets like super emotional, like it gets crazy deep. So I'm enjoying it right now. I didn't think I would really like this game, but I'm really having a good time with it.
You know, Cognito, I've heard from everything I've heard, this has like a 6-hour tutorial, guys.
Oh yeah. They want to break it down on everything. They want, like, throwing dung against the wall, stealing. Like they want to break it down. They want to give you a little, objective thing on how to do everything.
I think the prologue literally is like 3 hours long. Yeah,
absolutely.
Before it's like, hey, here you go wherever you want and do whatever you want.
But I will say this one last point is just that, like, story wise, like, it's very immersive and the voice acting is done very well. I felt so, like, it really puts you in that timepiece. So I mean, I think it's running like 1440, no HDR, unfortunately, which I was a little surprised that they didn't have that going for it. But the game still looks great to me. I mean, like I said, they got to get that patch going out, fix up a little bit of the jank. But I'm liking it so far, man.
Yeah, it's a smaller game. It's published by Deep Silver. It's made by Warhorse Studios. And, it's one of those games. It's kind of like a AA RPG, really. Yes. It's not really I didn't even know this game existed before I saw the launch trailer. It's one of those games where, but like I said, we're going to sum it up because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. It's interesting. It's very slow at first. It's a traditional, older style RPG, much more realistic. Food, weight, and all this stuff really comes into play. You do not have an option there. It is how it is. It's how the world works. And, it's not as shiny and the menus aren't as intuitive as you might like. But if you can fight through that and find a deeper, more immersive RPG experience underneath, then it's probably the game for you. Just keep that in mind. It's pretty slow, though.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the initial impressions. Anybody else in the panel got a last thought, thinking about getting it or anything before we move on?
No, not me. I mean, it's just, yeah. No, this just.
Hey, I wanted to talk about Moon Studios. Apparently, they're hiring more people to work on Eerie, Will of the Wisp, and apparently a new game. So. I wanted to hear maybe Luca's perspective. Did you play Ori and the Blind Forest at all?
Nope, but that's on my list. I'm going through the backlog of Xbox exclusives right now.
It's good. It's really good. Even though I haven't beat it, it's actually really good. I keep meaning to go back and beat it, but then I remember that there's all this other stuff I got to catch up on. But
I hear it's difficult.
It's quality. Yeah, it's difficult.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's kind of a non-story at this point. We know they're working on Will of the Wisp. We know that people cried when they saw it, according to Shannon Loftus, and it's their biggest story game ever. So we're waiting, and we
it's a mature single-player story-driven game that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, according to Shannon. So can't wait.
No, but it's like it got Game of the Year when Ori first came out, and it rated super high. It's up in the high 90s. It's a very beloved game. I've only played about half of it. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. We also got confirmation of Warhammer Vermintide 2. A lot of you guys remember that as a free Games of Gold not long ago. I had been championing that game for quite a while before the X came out and all that when I first saw it. It's a fun game, and they're making another one, obviously. They say it's going to run at 4K on Xbox One X at 1440p. They are CPU bound, so there will be no higher frame rate mode. They say the PS4, or not 1440p, my bad. The PS4 Pro will be running at 1440p.
Yeah.
The X will be at 4K. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what that team has done. Mega, have you played Warhammer Vermintide?
Yeah, I thought I played it with you and all day that one time.
You might have. I mean, what did you think about it?
No, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely a game that you have to play with friends, but but graphically at the time, and it didn't even have any enhancements. Matter of fact, I don't even think that we had the X when we played.
No, we didn't. I was very surprised when I saw it. I was like, whoa.
But it looked good. It looked good. I have not seen what it looks like with the X enhancements. When my X comes back, I'll definiting pop it in, man. We might have to put it in.
Let people know what happened to your X. Apparently that shit caught on fire or something, huh?
No, it just, man, I have no idea. It started. Well, it started off like in a week before I had to ship it off. It started cutting itself off like every couple of hours. Then it just got more frequent, and then it got to the point to where it would just shut itself off. And I couldn't go into the settings and try to do any changes when I talked to the Xbox staff. And so, from what people have told me, that it sounds like that it did get hot, and the Xbox shut itself off so it makes sure that it wouldn't burn out. So that's why it was frequently cutting itself off. So it was really weird.
Plugged into the wall or an extension?
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Was it what wall, or was it into a surge protector?
Oh no, I had it in the wall. I knew about that a long time ago about putting it in the wall because it has its own surge protector. So it just happened. It was a freak accident. Just got a bad batch from Walmart, I guess. But it is what it is. I mean, I got it, and I got the warranty. So I didn't think about it though, because there's a Microsoft store. I could have just packed it up and just sent it to them and just got another one the same day. But now I'm just waiting for them to bring it back to me. So
yeah, well, that sucks. Anybody else in here play Warhammer or have an Xbox catch on fire?
They're very related.
Flame on!
Yeah, I played the Warhammer. That's the wasn't it part of the Games with Gold? I believe.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, it's free with Games with Gold. Yeah,
it was good. It's kind of like a medieval. Kind of gives me like a Left 4 Dead kind of vibe, 4-player co-op, run around kind of a bit. Yeah, I mean, it looked good on the X. I mean, I can't claim. Probably not my cup of tea all the way with that specific game, but hey, for the free, it looked good. Felt a little Left 4 Dead vibe. You get 4 people going on. I couldn't.
Left 4 Dead clone, just medieval and with rats. Right? Down to the specialized rats, like the hunter rats and the ones that drag you off by yourself. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Left 4 Dead was fun. It had been, how long since I played Left 4 Dead? Like 8 years. So, I wouldn't mind in that Left 4 Dead action. And hey, guys, stay tuned because we are going to talk about this article this guy wrote. It blows my mind when we get some of these articles in where these guys can't count. They're like, look at all these PS4 first party games, and then they like can't count the Xbox first party games, and they're like, hey, look, there's 500,000 over here and 2 over here, and I'm like,
and I'm not biased.
I'm just blown away. So we're going to talk about that article here shortly. Have a good time with that and kind of give our perspectives and opinions on that. It just blows my mind that these people still write this stuff when facts are just out there. But in the meantime, I'll let you guys know about a bundle that's going on. You can buy an Xbox One X now and get FIFA 18, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Overwatch for free. Yes, for free.
Oh, that's good.
All of those games are enhanced, just so you know. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have the other two, but I do have Assassin's Creed. That game by itself is worth it. So,
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I've been playing.
In fact, all 3 of those are Assassin's Creed almost hits 4K. We're not quite sure if it actually does.
I'm convinced if they did another run of like it was 2060 something pixels
instead of 90
instead of 2160p, it was 2060 something p or something like that. I'm convinced there's a spot in there where the fucking game hits 4K. Okay.
But Overwatch runs at 4K. probably does too. I don't even think they've even.
I did this little rant on Glitchers podcast where people think because something's dynamic that it never runs at 4K, and I'm like, you idiots! Like, you understand how scaling works is where when like they even say this in the Digital Foundry videos, right? But these people plug their ears. Oh shit, some good shit's coming up. Better plug my ears up. They say this like, hey, all the characters on screen at once fighting, and for that period, it drops down to 1800p or whatever, right? That's like a 15-second window. And then the game, boom, right back up to 4K.
Yeah, usually like big explosions on screen or particle collection.
Yeah, as long as that explosion lasts, the resolution drops, right?
And the last time you check, remember every video game you played that has a great explosion, you're like, whoa, that was cool. And that's when the resolution dropped.
And you don't notice it. Like it lasts for as long as that explosion lasts, like a second or two, and boom, you're right back up to 4K. So, just because it's dynamic doesn't mean that it's not staying at 4K most of the time, like Wolfenstein 2 is doing as well. Like they even added a patch for that we're going to talk about as well. But nonetheless, that bundle is available. Anybody in here, Meggy, you might want to jump on that bundle real quick, man.
Man, I already got.
Man, you ain't got no extra shit caught on fire.
Man, cold blood.
As soon as you get it, you'll exchange it for that one, and then there you go.
Well, I mean, I'm playing my games. I had to pull it out of the closet, but I got the old Xbox Fat, and I can actually say that. Well, you know what? I can actually say that it actually performs better than I anticipated it was going to. I don't know if it has something that did graphically. No, it not even close. But it does. I'm playing the Witcher, and it's no. I can't. I'm not opening up anything right now. I'm not doing it. But it runs good. I mean, I'm playing the Witcher, and it plays really good, and well, better than I anticipated it. I mean, it doesn't compare to what the X give you, but.
It's serviceable, right? We were all pretty content with it for a while. So Feisty51, man, in the super chat, you're abusing your power, man. I can't, come on, man. We usually read off the super chat comments, but I can't do that when I can't start no wars off of other people's stuff going on here. So let's move on past that one. But hey, that's a great bundle. And I want to talk about CD Projekt Red. We'll let Luca talk about this one. They're talking about E3 2018. They are most likely going to show up at the Xbox stage. And they have, since we've talked about this rumor of them showing, remember it was a Polish site that leaked them showing up in a big way, right? Remember that?
Yes.
And now they have confirmed they're going to be at E3 2018 this year, just a few months away. Give us your thoughts.
Yes, I'm very excited about this. I truly believe Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be huge. And if Xbox can snag them, that's going to be a good win for them. Now, I don't know, man. I'm just really excited for this game. I don't know when it would possibly come out, though. But they've been working on it for a long time. They first showed it off in like 2013 with a little teaser. Bro, I'm hype. Like, I'm really hype. And if it's exactly what they're saying it's going to do, it's crazy to me because they're saying it's bigger than The Witcher. They have more side quests than The Witcher. It's not going to have any fucking bullshit. Their official Twitter said it's not going to have any microtransaction bullshit, which,
which was great.
That's great. It's amazing. They said they're implementing online, so that's going to be interesting to see, especially given the setting. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of places they can go with it, especially since the game is based off a tabletop series. So, and they're working closely with the create. Yes.
Tell us about that.
So, it's the Cyberpunk series. It's hold on, what's this dude's name? Yeah, it's the Cyberpunk series is based off of tabletop. The thing with the CD Projekt Red guys, right, is that they work really closely with the creators of these series. So they work really closely with the creator of the Witcher's books, and they're working really closely with Mike Pondsmith. That's the guy. So he created these, and they came to him and said, "Hey, we like your game. We want to turn it into a video game." And he's like, okay, cool. And ever since then, he's been working with them. There's a really cool video, actually. If you look up Mike Pondsmith Cyberpunk and then Cyberpunk game, you can watch it. He goes into detail about it. He goes into detail and he says stuff like, hey, you know what? These guys approached me, and when they were talking to me about turning my game into an actual video game, they were mentioning stuff I didn't even remember I put in my game. These guys, they're very...
How old is this game, do you think?
Let's see here.
I mean, if you don't know off the top of your head, it's not a big deal. But
yeah, okay. So the first one was from 1988.
Oh, wow.
The next one was 1990, and then 2005.
That's cool.
So it's something that they've like, when they get into a series, when they're interested in adapting a series, they pay attention. And I just think that's amazing. And I'm really looking forward to it. I looked into it a lot, so I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to have a good time with it. And I hope, I mean, I'm not even, I hope, but like given the reputation after The Witcher 3, everyone's going to be interested, you know, everyone, like, I don't even like sci-fi games like that. And even I'm just like, yeah, I can't wait to jump in and try this out and see where we go. Cause it's like what they're promising is
it's massive, right? And even more excitingly is the fact that we've seen nothing up till now. So I like it when people hold it, like Fallout 4, right? They held on to everything and it just exploded. And we had so much information and gameplay all at once. It was great. Xbox says, did you see the Digital Foundry processor video comparing the Pro and the there wasn't I mean, it was interesting kind of how they show that, and they show how that process comes about, but there was nothing new in there that we didn't already know. He mentioned that he's got some.
You don't already know.
Well, we've already talked about this, right? We've been ahead of Digital Foundry so many times. I mean, what he's going to do, what he did at the end of the video is like, I got some interesting theories on the next-gen consoles because of this and blah, blah, blah. What he's going to tell you is it's going to use a Ryzen Core APU, as I've already said, weeks and weeks ago.
Go watch your video.
Yeah, just run my video. That's all he's got to do. So I put that video out weeks ago talking about the processors and what they're going to do, and that's exactly what he's going to say. And I think, you know, that's going to be awesome. 60 frames is going to be much more prevalent. Physics, animation, AI, all that good stuff. Some real next-gen stuff. So
there really is. Yeah, there really is only one direction that everything's, you know, it's common sense where they're heading. And we know what the tech that AMD is building, these APUs, and Dealer makes really good assumptions because I think they're educated assumptions. And I think you're right. We're going to see Richard is going to put out that video and it's going to be right in line with some of those predictions you're making. And we're going to see next generation. I think we're going to see 60 frames on almost every game. Do you agree?
I think every game will be 60 frames next generation for sure.
Because it's a massive leap in processing power, and for the first couple of years, the games aren't going to be that big of a leap next generation wise.
And there's so much they can do with physics and stuff. And Microsoft are working. I've referenced this several times. I never hear anybody talking about this. That direct physics API technology they're working on with DX12. It's basically PhysX through an API, and that's going to be heavily CPU intensive. Physics have so much more to go on consoles. If you've ever played a game of PhysX from NVIDIA on the PC, you understand what I'm talking about. That's a 30 frames per second chunk gone when you turn that and max it out. So physics, it has a massive role to play.
I do not.
So
like Bonds in the super chat.
I don't like show tunes.
Yeah, physics has a large role to play in the next gen consoles, and I don't think every game will be 60, but you're going to see that option much more prevalently. I'd say you're going to have it in a lot of games, so that's really good news. Even the lowest Ryzen APU that just came out, even the low end one, isn't CPU bound on any of the tests they're doing. It's all GPU bound on the 2400G, I think it is. So
I think I disagree a little bit here. I really do think next generation is going to be 60 because console gamers have been clamoring for 60 frames per second for some time on every game. And to be honest with you, the next generation consoles should do it. And at that point in time, they're going to have the APUs on lock, and they're going to have different versions of it. It's probably going to be in a second.
I agree, man. You know, I'm a frame rate whore, right? And I'm a normal whore, but I'm mostly a frame rate whore. And I will take 60 over everything. But I'm just saying, you're going to have devs that push physics and animation to the max.
And that's where I think the cloud compute's going to come into play, because I think the next generation consoles are definitely going to have cloud compute in their pipeline. And I think some of these games are going to offload these heavy physics to the cloud, and we'll be able to obtain these 60.
I think Crackdown is going to tell us a lot about that technology. Brian Baker in the chat, Fonz likes loot crates.
Crackdown is very important to that.
If Crackdown works out Cognito, I think that gives us an idea of how obtainable this is, and this has taken them years to do. So it's got a ways to go before it's just easily accessible physics compute from the servers. You know, like.
Well, that's why I don't think the
consoles
are going to be coming out anytime soon. I think that it's going to be at least a 2 or 3 year. I say a 3-year window. I don't see them coming out next year or the year after that.
2020.
It just isn't feasible. It doesn't benefit PlayStation, and then because of how well that the PlayStation 4 is doing so well, and then Microsoft has already got the X, and the X is already starting off, and people are just now starting to get enthused with it. So
the problem with that K Mega is that I hear a lot of gamers say they don't expect 2019 or 2020, and mostly like 90% of them are saying that because they're not ready personally.
No.
But Richard Ledbetter is banking on 2019, and I even think that's a little too early, even though I've predicted that before. But 2020, which Dealer and I did a video together, seems very real, and it seems to be supported on what Phil Spencer said, that they while they were finishing up the X, they already had plans for the next console. Sony has already leaked too many little like rumors and little hints that they're already working on PS5. And as much as everybody wants to say 2021 so they can enjoy their Pro and their X longer, I don't know.
They were definitely optional, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Also,
PlayStation's 25th anniversary is 2020.
Ooh, nice fun.
It'll be here. It'll be
and wouldn't be the 2021 where the Xbox would have their anniversary, something like that. So I don't know. It to me, it's just I don't think, like I said, because of the way the PlayStation 4 is suited, and how well it's selling. It just would. I think that it would have the same type of problem that it would, like, as powerful as great as the PlayStation 2 was, and how the PlayStation 3 came about. You kind of look and see that same type of scenario, because people are still buying the PlayStation 4. I had a person at work today said that him and his girlfriend went and got a PlayStation 4 because their friends got one, and basically it just now and it just started playing. It was playing Call of Duty. So I think that I just don't see it happening anytime soon, because also you got to think about the price point. That's going to be the biggest factor, and they got to have it comparable.
I think it's going to continue to sell, to be honest with you, because at that point in time, the PlayStation is going to be down to like $150. It's going to be cheap at that point. So it's going to continue to sell, and people will go out and buy the new console.
I agree. And
you're still going to have millions of people that own a PlayStation. They're not all going to just abandon the platform. So there's still money to be made there. In 2019, it doesn't seem that far away, but do you know how far along technology will be advanced by then? Later on this year, we're going to have some new GPUs from, I don't know what AMD is really working on. I know they have some new stuff coming. I don't think Navi's coming this year. I think it's coming next year. But NVIDIA has...
AMD are just working on another Vega card with a burrito taped to it.
Yeah, they have like a 7 nanometer Vega card coming out.
I got a question for you, though, D. I got a question. Will we see a 4K Nintendo by 2020?
Stop right now, Fonz.
Hey, I gotta get in the super chat here. We got Obi-Wan FTW. He says, I messaged you and called about on Xbox about a 4K monitor. It has FreeSync but no HDR. What do you guys think about that? You know what? It depends on what you paid for it, man. If it had HDR, you paid several $100 more for it probably. So it's all down to your budget, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. HDR is nice though. I've been seeing that on the OLED and the KS and stuff. I mean, it's nice, but personally, it's one of those things where it depends on the game. Horizon 3 has phenomenal HDR, and that's one of the few games where I'm like, yeah, this changes the game. But other than that, it's like, do you want to pay several $100 for HDR? That's kind of preference. What do you think, D, about this? Yeah, 4K monitor with no HDR.
I wouldn't be buying a 4K monitor without HDR, to be honest.
So that's D. That's D.
But honestly, it's obsolete as soon as you buy it. So why would you do that? You know,
well, I mean, it's, if people want to spend a certain amount of money, then they're getting what they pay for, right? So,
4K HDR monitors is increased over last year, so they should have, you know.
I mean, we all know it's the future, right? We all know it's coming. Everything will eventually support it, but at the same time, if someone wants to spend $400 less, then they can do that.
But if you're looking at 4K versus HDR is more, you know, you see more in HDR than you do with the resolution. I love HDR.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but you also, that $400 is great too. So it's up to you to decide what's better. Cyrus Burke says, "Watch out for Lucas. She ain't playing in the super chat." Yeah, I'm assuming she's killing someone in the chat. I don't know. I can't keep up.
They need some milk.
Hey, we do have to give a shout out to about 500 people watching live. We appreciate it, guys. Hit that like button if you can. It really helps the show.
Like not too long ago, you told people that save up for that OLED. Save up for it because it's worth it. You know,
and that's going from. But I also say that my first 4K TV was a MU or KU 6300, like medium in 70-inch 4K TV, right?
It's a crap
compared to the OLED. Yeah, it's a piece of crap, but it's also a fraction of the price, right? And then from the KS8000, I'm like, well, that's like 20% better than the 6300 to me, the brightness and stuff. And then I pay attention to the OLED, and I'm like, well, that's like 70% better than the KS8000. So just get the OLED. Don't,
Yep.
Pay $500 more, get the OLED over something like a KS or an MU9000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's just smarter because the pictures is so much better. But that's just my opinion. Some people only want to spend $600.
That's bad. Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, Metroid Prime 4, Fonz. I know you're like that. What do you think about this?
Metroid Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like Metroid. What about it? What about 4?
Well, they're making it. Apparently, Bandai Namco is publishing it.
I'm excited for it, honestly. That's one. Actually, you know what? I have to see it first because it's been forever since I even played a Nintendo game. I don't even own a Switch at this point. But a really good Metroid game might kind of tip me over to buying a Switch, to be honest.
But didn't Zelda already do that? Since Zelda's perfect, apparently.
Zelda, it was not my type of game. Look, I liked Ocarina of Time and all those older games, but I sort of moved on from Zelda. I've never really had that nostalgic feeling for Zelda in the first place.
Me either.
But Metroid, I like it much better.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Anybody else got any opinions on Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I think for me, obviously, I'm a Switch owner, so I'm a huge Bandai Namco fan. So to see that kind of marriage was kind of surprising. I was like, all right, Nintendo, you're letting them in the door, okay? I think it represents a new Nintendo. I think for the Switch especially, it's huge because there's really I think that's the one genre that they're kind of lacking. I know Doom is on it running at 30, but and Wolfenstein too. God bless this
30 with lower settings than F480i or some shit.
I gotta say to random guy in the chat, he said no one moves on from Zelda. Look, man, when you gotta constantly get weapons because they keep breaking every 5 minutes. No, thank you. I don't want to keep up with all that bull crap.
It's a little different than Witcher, where when these break, they're broken, they disappear, right?
Yeah, it's terrible. And that's the one complaint I hear from all my friends that do own that game is the fact that they constantly break.
Listen, you gotta get that amiibo, man. You get that amiibo for the, you know what I'm saying? You get them
unbreakable sword amiibo and scan it in. Scan it in using a retina scanner, and there you go.
That's where Cognito lost me. I know nothing about amiibos. Okay,
I'll put you on the Lord King. He the king of amiibos. But no, I understand what you're saying with that. It's definitely frustrating that aspect. But to the Metro Prime thing, I'm definitely excited to see where they go with it. And like I said, first person genre is something that they're sorely lacking. They don't have a lot in that genre. So from the ground up, built from the Switch with the powerful Tegra, we'll see what happens.
It's a Tegra, it's a Tegra X1 though. It's the one that's like 4 years old. The one that's capable, man. But it's also got the advantage of being the only console that does what it does. So
it's the same one that's in my NVIDIA Shield, isn't it?
It's like the first generation. It's the Tegra X1. So
you're so disrespectful.
They got it running right, and they have an advantage that
Wolfenstein 2 is coming, man. It's coming.
Yeah.
They might get a 4K dock sometime. I heard that.
I'm done.
All right, we got a quick curve stomping D here. Man. By the way, the Xbox One X has HBM2 as well, so just so you guys know that. We're being really hard on D right now, so we got any other opinions on this? D, I know you got an opinion on this.
On what?
You're really quiet. Say again.
On the 4K dock that's coming out.
Oh man, stop it, man. In all honesty, when I reported those things, they were articles I was reporting on.
They were because they were talking about the dev kit, weren't they, for the Switch?
Yes,
it was like twice as powerful as the regular Switch.
I'm sorry.
People thought there was another SKU.
And D is
I'm sorry, I had
faith
in Nintendo. I thought that they would do it. I thought they were teaming up with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA, we know what NVIDIA does. They make the best graphic cards in the world. So I thought, hey, this could possibly be true that this system's going to be packing. And no, it was lacking, man. And I take the L. Okay, I take the L.
I think I mentioned too that there's no point running those games at 4K with the settings and textures they had.
It's a decent educated guess as well, because look, 4K has been the big buzzword this gen, especially with these mid-gen consoles. It just made sense, That's what they wanted to do. And you would think Nintendo would follow suit, but Nintendo's still beating to their own, you know, that sound of their own drum. You know, they just
killing themselves though.
Killing themselves, beating them drum though. I'm shocked. I really didn't think that the Switch would be selling like how it is. Like, I got my kids one for Christmas. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And they don't have any plans of making anything new anytime soon, because in an article they said that they looked at this life cycle of the Switch can go past 6 years.
Well,
so
yeah, it's selling.
I mean, as long as it sells, they'll keep on doing it. I mean, if they can sell you $80 cardboard and people can get excited about that, then I mean, the sky's the limit for Nintendo.
Sir, it's only $70, sir.
Sorry.
And hey, shout out to the idea behind that cardboard, by the way. The idea.
Vaughn's if so only you could bring back my childhood and make some cardboard.
Oh, stop it.
That's what Vaughn's did. Hey, we're picking on everyone tonight. We're running kind of lower on time here. I'm going to talk about the Xbox problem, okay? It's an article just the guy in math class that always failed. So I called the Xbox problem. His article is officially titled "Microsoft Has a Problem." The Xbox that they can't buy their way out of. And the long story short, the guy is talking about all these exclusives when it comes to first party and all this different shit. And I'm going to spare you the details because it's all bullshit. And I see these articles from Forbes. I see them from GameSpot, where people are talking about all these exclusives. And then they're mentioning things like Last of Us and Death Stranding, and they know those aren't coming out this year. But then they forget.
They act like they are.
They're not. We all know that. And then they forget that, you've got Crackdown, State of Decay 2, and Sea of Thieves. And even if those things aren't your bag, right? Then I can kind of counter that by saying, well, half the stuff he listed on his list isn't my bag. Like, he listed all these Japanese games off on one of these articles that I just do not care about, right? They're not my thing. And I just will never, ever play them, even if they were given to me. I would use them as a coaster. So it's one of those things where if they're allowed to pick and choose what they're into and just forget to mention what's coming out for the other side because they're not interested in it, then, I just think that's bullshit. That's not journalism. That's not facts. Those aren't numbers that are finite, right? So this guy's problem with the Xbox is that you got all this first-party support on PlayStation when in fact, you had 4 last year, and that's counting the Uncharted DLC, and you had 3, I think, on Xbox last year, and that was Xbox's last year, or worst year. And then this year, I think you'll have more first-party on Xbox, and these people still write articles like this. You can't buy your way out of this problem. When you literally, all you have to do is buy more games or make more games. So for one, you can buy your way out of this problem, and two, the problem is overstated when you can't fucking count.
So what are the first-party games on PS4 for 2018?
PS4, and please correct me in the chat, anyone on the panel. I don't keep up with 100% of the things over there, mainly the things I like, but I've run the numbers before. I know it's Spider-Man's supposed to come out this year, God of War's supposed to come out this year, and
Days Gone.
Days Gone doesn't, people are saying that's probably going to get pushed back, and it wasn't listed as early 2018 or anything. Spider-Man's already coming out the end of 2018. I highly doubt in between God of War and Spider-Man, or in between Spider-Man and the end of the year, which Spider-Man's already at the end of the year. Yeah, Detroit's supposed to come out. So I think at the very most you'll have 3 this year.
No, you got way more than that.
As well.
You got way more than that. You have all those VR games I'm being told that should be coming.
Here's the thing with those VR games, and I mention this a lot. They're like, well, it's like the Kinect. And I'm like, well, if it's like the Kinect, then it's already behind because Kinect has like 15 million units out there or some shit. And the Kinect on the 360 is the most successful peripheral or some shit of all time, right? It has some record. So it's not like the Kinect, even if you want to pull some bullshit out of your ass. But it's not like the PS4 in the way that you got to pay another $300 to play these games. So why are you trying to count these games when you can't use it on a PS4 and a PS4 alone? We're counting stuff you can use on an Xbox.
And here's another like scandalous thing I could say that is absolutely ridiculous. Like people say, these are the big AAA games you listed off, like God of War and Detroit Become Human. They're like, you got trash like Crackdown, so they're going to pretend like Crackdown is like an indie game. Crackdown is a 30-hour campaign with a groundbreaking online if it's there. Crackdown is a huge game, whether somebody says they don't like it at all. I would never play Detroit Become Human. It's not my type of game, but I'm not going to say it's trash. So
Yeah, but hey, shout out to Top Fraud, by the way, because he's one of those guys who thinks they should be counted, those VR games. But here's the problem with that.
No, those games are for PSVR, not PS4. So
but here's the problem with PSVR. There's only 2 million users with PSVR, so I mean, you can't really count games that, as good as they are, let's say Farpoint is amazing. The problem with counting that in with everything else is the fact that not too many people use them. Not many people play those games.
The entire base does not own it. That's
not
the problem
mainstream yet. And
I can't believe that this is the third day in a row that I have to hear about VR. And every time it happens,
hey,
apparently around Fonz, and I'm just like, why?
Apparently, Luca, according to Top Fraud, I took a huge L for saying that VR isn't mainstream.
VR is not mainstream. I don't understand why people keep saying that it is PC. Just because you personally like VR does not make. It's not.
And I did. I used it. It is.
Christ, like I'm tired of hearing about this. Like PSVR is a peripheral you can add to your fucking PlayStation. I don't count those games. I'm sorry, I don't. And it doesn't count if it's like a game that you can normally play off of VR. Like
you gotta add like the price of another whole PS4 to play those games.
Like literally. And I'm just like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care about it. Stop counting those fucking games. Most of them aren't even big. They're just like little titles here and there with a couple of titles sprinkled in that are huge. All right.
You know what the bad part is, Luca? Like, if we had a bunch of Kinect, like a surge of Kinect games, right? Like 200 Kinect games, and we're like, look at all these games, frauds.
Yes, and I brought that up. I told them, I said, you guys, the same people who were touting this shit wasn't saying that the Kinect games counted. All right. And there was a way bigger install base.
It wouldn't count to them. Okay. It wouldn't count. They would be making fun of it. That's what would happen, just because that's what's wrong with these people. There's a double standard for everything. They get upset over the dumbest shit. They make fun of people for the dumbest shit. And it's on both sides. And it's just like, do you guys realize how fucking stupid you sound? This dude who wrote this article is an idiot. Clearly, just a fucking idiot.
Let me go over a couple of games that's.
Oh my god!
Top Dog said, "Luca, you're not old enough."
Like I just.
Okay, we got.
You know what? I may not be old enough, but I'm still on the panel while you're in the comment section like trash. And that's how it is for most of these people. You guys want to be on the show, but you're not. So get over it.
You got to take it there.
Mercy,
you rode that escalator.
Man, see why K-Mega got to come places and y'all got to do this.
That's the best part about haters, guys.
Gentler podcast.
That's the best part. That's the best part about haters. They've got 14 followers and they've got the biggest mouth, and it's like, why don't you do something?
Kind of like that one guy who made a post. Like I don't remember what he said because what he said was irrelevant because he's trash, right? And then he had to tag a bunch of people because that was the only way anyone would see what he had to say. I'm sick of the people. All you people do is complain and are negative about shit all the
How
fucking
you gonna
time.
be on Twitter and only have 24 people that and then actually act like you. That you got that much importance and clout.
Well, K-Mega, I take a
cursory up every time.
I take a cursory look at somebody's profile like that, and they've got like the last 24 tweets are like, "You dumb ex slut, you guys got nothing."
Like at the end of the day,
suicide. Why?
At the end of the day, it's just all opinion based, all right? These people have these thoughts and they have their opinions. This dude who wrote his article, he's not a fucking journalist. He just writes opinion pieces. Xbox doesn't have any games coming out this year when they clearly have a bunch of games fucking coming out this year. And this is coming from me, someone who's not interested in Crackdown 3 or State of Decay or Sea of Thieves. These are still fucking AAA games. Like, they're still AAA games. They still count. They still matter.
The author's name is Ben Gilbert, so if one of you guys want to
make it famous.
If you say stupid shit like that without actually fact checking, it's like they like looking like idiots, and I just don't get it.
I told you
it promotes a narrative.
That's
what generates traffic.
Who Luca's talking to when she's talking shit to these people in the chat? She's talking to the fucking troll, the one or two trolls. Yeah. So hopefully you guys watch the show and enjoy it. Don't take offense to anything like that because we're not referring to you. She's referring to these fucking low life people.
So this article she's 100% right though. She's 100% right because as much as I hate Sea of Thieves, like I don't like it. I don't tell anybody else that they shouldn't like it. The game's still counts.
Right. And that's the problem with the generation that I noticed is that like people have this thing where they can't say it just because they don't like it. The game might not be for you. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that people should say, oh, it's trash or it sucks. That's the difference. And it just promotes that negative kind of clickbaity narrative that people gravitate towards and latch on.
Right. And see, this is the thing about with me, right? Where I get called the L megas and all this, and I promote Japanese games. I'm one of the Xbox guys that love Japanese games. Like I got Dragon Quest. I'm looking forward for Dragon Quest that's supposed to be coming out in 2018. I'm looking forward to Nuni Kone because it's coming out, but it's coming out on. I'm going to get it on the PC. You know, and then like I'm looking like okay, in this article that I'm looking at right now, they're showing Wild. PlayStation has not talked about Wild since it was brought up back in 14? You know what I'm saying? It's not coming. I mean, Detroit is one of my most anticipated games of 2018. And that's a PlayStation game, Jack. You know what I'm saying? God of War, send that shit to Hades. I'm not worried about God of War. I'm good with it.
Oh, come on, God of War.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm through with it. But the fact of it is that, look, as I'm over here talking about games that I'm interested in on the PlayStation side, you don't hear the haters that they'll say anything positive about any Xbox game, and there are some good quality games over here on that platform. I mean, it just makes no sense. If you're saying that you're a true gamer, then actually you need to be loving everything, or at least some of it on every other platform. It just doesn't make any sense.
Just try to look at shit objectively. And right. we got to move this along because we got a few more.
Yeah, I know Rachel's on too.
Yeah, you're missing your girl Rachel. And
whatnot, I got her on pause. I'm looking at her right now. Rachel,
don't look at her too long. Hey,
man, close this thing with one more thing from that article. I don't know if you were finished with the article, but one of his points is he says he has a picture of the Xbox One S, and he says Microsoft comes out with a new Xbox in an attempt to start a new generation before Sony.
What the fuck?
Now I'm assuming
I'm
assuming he means the X actually, but he has a picture of the white S. But I'm assuming he means that the Xbox One X was an attempt to start a new generation before Sony, when instead, when most people who objectively look at the news realize that the X was a hang back 1 year and do it right console regen.
Yeah,
right?
Because even Digital Foundry in the most recent video hammered the pro and talked about the massive differences between multiplats, right? And they're talking about this shit objectively, facts, numbers, the stuff that people held on to for years and talked about Blades of Grass and Grand Theft Auto 5, right? They're referencing facts, and they're talking about the differences. And the X is factually a better, more well-rounded, quieter, cooler, smaller even console than the Pro. And that's just how it is, right? And it's not a big deal. Just admit it, move on, enjoy what you want. But at the end of the day, you know, this guy's an idiot. I hate it when these tech guys try to talk about next generation shit, and they don't know fucking nothing. They're not even tech guys at all. So
why talk about it? Guys, I got to run, but it was fun. And to the chat, everybody be good to each other. It was awesome. Luca, don't stop me. I will never speak those two letters again around you. I apologize. But yeah, it was fun. Thanks, Dealer.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, we need to get this shit moving along because people got lives in the chat here. Monster Hunter World sold 6 million copies, one of Capcom's fastest selling games. People are worried about Capcom because they just did a big layoff, but they're probably just trimming the fat, making games more profitable in the long run. But 6 million for Monster Hunter Worlds. What do you think about this, Cognito, real quick while we run through this?
It's pretty much phenomenal. I mean, just to see the success of that title and to see people latching onto it, I just wish they fixed their actual cooperative joining mechanism.
I heard it's convoluted as hell.
Yeah, it's way extra for no reason. But other than that, I mean, the game itself is doing phenomenal. It's really good to see the title jumping off the way it is.
God, man, I got so many topics here we didn't get through. Hey, Wolfenstein 2 got an update where it has different modes now, so you can choose to play it in native 4K 60 mode. We all knew that game was already running at native 4K 60 most of the time. According to Digital Foundry, they were very surprised by that, and the developer said, you know what, well, we're going to add a native 4K 60 lock so it doesn't scale dynamically, so we can shut some of these fanboys up that are talking about it's dynamic, it's not 4K. Well, it drops below 4K very rarely, and that's pretty much their lock, right? Say what?
It sure shut somebody up this week that was making fun of.
Oh, that's great. It's always good to go up against the uninformed on Twitter. They hardly ever know things like that. So they have a 4K mode and a scaling mode, and you can decide what you want to do there. We've also got Activision. Those fucking scums of the earth, making $4 billion last year with microtransactions alone, in case you guys didn't hear.
Yes.
Microtransactions, Activision, hand in hand, Activision is the scummiest company in the gaming industry today. We all hate Activision. Anyone else? I hate them.
But it's really funny because EA gets all the hate, and Activision is 10 times worse.
And they don't make any games. They have Call of Duty and Destiny.
Yeah,
Blizzard. Blizzard's holding them up with Overwatch, but Activision, from a fundamental viewpoint, Activision's actual studios that aren't Blizzard, which they bought, don't make shit. So
they only made $7 billion in full revenue of everything, and like you said, $4 billion of it was off of microtransactions, and people actually are pissed off about that. It's never going away because gamers, we're the problem. We're the ones that keep buying stuff. I mean, that's we are the ones that has to change the culture because we were the ones that made this culture. So
fight the power.
We got to think. Well, of course, absolutely.
Hey, let us know what you think in the chat, guys. We got almost 500 people watching. Hit that like button. Let's try to get.
I'm part of the problem because I'm finna buy some microtransaction shit here later on.
Rachel Madhouse.
After Rachel get off, yeah. No, stop. I just love her show, man. Come on, man. She likes girls. She likes Luca. I just like her show, man.
Yeah, I know. We're just fucking with it, man. He's all. I got the sword out.
She is hot, right, K-Mega?
I didn't say she was hot. I said I love her mind is hot. I love how she presents her style, man. Come on, stop it.
Well, you love.
Get on out of here.
You also love Battlefield 1, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that game, according to a listing, I think it got removed, but apparently Battlefield 1 might get the X patch after all.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So that'd be nice. The game already looks great on the X. It uses the dynamic scaling to ping out at 1000p and the lock 60, but of course the X is capable of so much more. I'm guessing around 4K, very close to 4K at 60 on that game. Believe it or not, the Pro does over 1440 to my knowledge, so you'll be able to crush that pretty easily. That's a quick topic. Sea of Thieves, big information releasing today with Sea of Thieves. We've got a lot of stuff. Some press have played the Xbox One X build, and they have confirmed that there are a lot of animals and wildlife in the game. Remember my criticism of Sea of Thieves? One of them was the fact that the world was empty. I said there was one kind of fish. The world just felt empty, and I said, well, it's a beta. I'm going to wait until the game comes out, and we'll see. And this is why, because, of course, they're going to add more fish to a game that's made of water. So, yeah, it's also going to be native 4K and HDR on the Xbox One X. The beta was not patched for the Xbox One X. That was unpatched. It's hard to believe that game is so crisp. But, yeah, it wasn't patched, and there will probably be an open beta very soon as well. So, microtransactions will be showing up. They're cosmetic only, and they will show up 3 months after the game comes out. So,
almost 350,000 people in the closed beta. Yeah, the open beta should be pretty huge.
It wasn't that big. See on Twitch, it's number 67. See, fucking idiots. Bro, that beta ended a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, did you also bring up the point about what Prey, backwards compatible games, Prey, what is it?
Give us the list.
Yeah, Prey, the Spec Ops The Line came out here last week.
What's the third one?
And well, no. I'm just saying. I'm just going in random. I know Prey, and I can't think of the other game that came
Splinter
out.
Cell Conviction.
Yeah, Splinter Cell Conviction, Prey. And then Split Second. Yeah, that's a cool little game as well, man. Y'all need to jump on that.
Yeah, Mafia too.
Hey, according to Final Fantasy, one of the Final Fantasy directors, the next Xbox and PlayStation 5 will have cloud compute ability. Now, of course, this guy doesn't have his hands on a PS5 or an Xbox. He hasn't even seen them. He has no contact with Sony in regards to that stuff. I think he's just looking out into the future, right, and saying, hey, the cloud is going to become kind of everything in the future, right? And of course, they may have some kind of cloud powering ability or cloud powered ability for physics or AI or whatever they're already doing on the Xbox One now, kind of in a small way. So that's what I'm saying. Crackdown is going to be kind of a big way of it'll be very telling to see how capable that cloud tech is going to be. But according to this guy from Final Fantasy, he says the next consoles in a few years will have cloud powered tech. So I think it's interesting. It could be software or maybe a hardware chip implementation somehow. You never know, right? So I don't know. Any quick thoughts on that before we move on to the last topic here?
Yeah, well, like we touched earlier on the show, it's the industry definitely is going in that direction, and I do think it'll be something, a chip in there that lowers the latency, so that you don't really feel it when it's using the cloud compute. So I think it'll be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, guys, in case you're wondering, Spin Tires Mudrunner or Mudrunner Spin Tires is Xbox One X enhanced now. It's 4K according to the developer. That's a really cool. That's that truck game I used in a video where you're kind of budding, you get stuck in the water. It's got really realistic physics. Kingdom Hearts 3 also coming to Xbox One to be revealed this E3 2018 as well. So that's good news. And of course, I wanted to sum it up by letting you guys know that Xbox One X is still outpacing the PlayStation 4 Pro in terms of sales. The Xbox One X is outpacing PS4 Pro as it was at its launch, according to segmentnext.com. That's very, very good information, seeing as everyone was telling me it wasn't going to sell and there's nothing to play on it and it's more expensive and it's still outdoing the Pro. So let's think twice before we say dumb shit, I guess, next time.
You can't bring that up without saying that they think that the Xbox platform has sold 35 million in its lifetime, which, what do you guys think?
I don't know, man.
At this point, million, like over a year ago.
I think it's about maybe 41, I would say. 40 to 41, I would say.
Why is the number so low, D?
It's not necessarily low. It's just the PS4 is doing so well.
Oh, well.
If you look at the history of the consoles,
I mean that 35 million number that they're reporting. I think that seems really low.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that either, especially looking at the software numbers where you've got certain versions of the Xbox game doing better than the PS4 version and stuff like that. It's like, well, how? If it's 2 to 1, how? What's going on?
PS4 is like just over 2 million above the Xbox in North America. The gap runs across the UK and Europe.
All the other regions, PlayStation has more regions, but I mean,
which is a problem. Why is Microsoft not released in some of these regions? Still, they haven't launched in some of these regions
because they don't want to sell 10 consoles in a region, right? Like Japan, right?
The Japan stigma.
Yeah, it's just who knows. But at the end of the day, that's why it's important for them to get off on next generation the right way. They've got to be out at the same time or earlier. They did it with the 360, right? They came out after the PS2. They came out before the PS3, and that's how they became the brand, right, in America anyway, and for a long time globally. It's just one of those things where a lot hinges on this next gen, and they're going to have to get out. Maybe X1X is only out for 2 years, but at the same time, it was an option. They told you it was an option. You didn't have to buy it. You knew what you were in for before you bought it. And you know what? That 2 years, I got a lot of value. I'm already getting a lot of value out of this thing. It's bringing a lot to me with console gaming, so.
I already have in 3 months. I feel like I've got my money's worth.
Yeah.
That sounds.
You have it for a few
Mine's
years.
broken. I still feel like I got my money's worth. No doubt about it.
These things are just kind of just going out, but I don't know. It's not all that much. From what I'm hearing, Other Zinc says that's bullshit. Xbox One X is more than 45 million. Yeah, it's just one of those things we just won't know, man. We have to go off active users and software sales, and the software sales tell us the gap.
It makes you wonder that number they're reporting that Microsoft finally go, wait a minute, because if it's really off, Microsoft's gonna we can't let them say that number. Maybe it's
Sony are moving to users as well. Like people thought Phil was damage controlling when he was doing it, but then Sony come out and said we're going to start doing monthly active users and look into more microtransactions and stuff.
That's the metric they want to follow right now. It's all about users and engagement now. Even with Game Pass and all that stuff, it kind of follows in suit with the mindset. And let's be real, second place kind of does that. Also, what we get front, that's not part of it.
No, that's the truth. But that's where the money is, though. I mean, we've seen with Activision how much money they're making off of just microtransactions and off of these service-based games like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, being the third most selling game of all time at 90 million. That's ridiculous. So
still charting.
So it's just one of those things where, man, gaming is going into a whole nother different direction than I think a lot of the old purists used to, think that it should. It's just what we just got to just enjoy the ride, man. It's changing.
It's literally an evolution right before.
It's a very complicated time in gaming with the iterative consoles, stuff that's never been done before, right? It's really nuts. So it's going to be very exciting over the next couple of years to see what the X1X brings us graphically, and then after that, the next gen consoles with their better CPUs and stuff. But that's about the end of the show, guys. It's probably the most topic-packed show ever in the universe, and we get a lot of information out there. Hopefully you guys could keep up. I barely could. Hit a like button if you enjoyed the show. Let's try to get up to over 300 likes for the show ends. We appreciate it. So we're going to start doing some outros. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Colt, man, thanks for coming. Where can people find you?
They can find me at Colt Eastwood on Twitter, Colt Eastwood on YouTube, and subscribe, watch, support what I'm doing. Please.
Show that man some love.
watch each video 5 times. And if you guys
holla,
if you guys
we got the drop. It's live.
If you guys wanna sneak peek at what's his name, fucking the guy from Digital Foundry,
Richard Ledbetter.
Richard Ledbetter is going to tell you in his next gen console video. Just watch mine. It's called Next Gen CPU Tech Revealed. It's one of the more recent ones I've done. I'm trying to get more videos out starting next week, going through some stuff.
Please watch it. Please watch it and kind of keep in mind what he says. And it'll be interesting to see how close you are to what he says.
Yeah, tell Richard in the comments of his video, hey, this was old news. We try to do what we do. I'll get more videos out next week for sure. I got a new CPU and stuff coming in, so until then it might be a little slow, but we do appreciate you hanging in there. D, thanks for showing up as usual, man. Newest member of RDX. Tell people where they can find you, stuff like that.
You can find me on Twitter at D_batch and on YouTube at DBatch. And I can't wait to get back into some UFC 3. Man, that game has been consuming me for the last week. That game is dope.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. Thanks for coming on, man. Luca, tell the people where they can find a good show.
You can find me at the Ashen Luca on Twitter and on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay, and of course we got K Mega 405. Tell the people where they can find you. Tell the people about that podcast. You do.
I got on this damn show because I need subs. Come in and show K Mega 405's channel right there now. Don't wait. Don't, if you got to go take a piss, whatever, just don't do it. Go to K Mega 405's channel and hit sub, and then you can go do what you got to do. But anyway,
K Mega do some subs. Bring K Mega some bread and shit too. Some more.
You know what? I'm light on eggs. I can take some eggs too.
Eggs,
and some milk. Anyway,
you ain't got no sugar. One of the two. You need one of them.
We don't need. I got sugar.
Anyway. Do gotta say, go check out K Mega's channel. Hit that dislike button on all his videos. Cognito, thanks for coming on, bud. I was on your show not too long ago. I encourage people to go watch that and your other podcasts. Tell people where they can find you, your channel.
Sir. First of all, absolute pleasure, guys. Huge fan of RDX, and just to be on with you guys. And shout out to King Meg and the crew. It's been an honor. The Lord's Day is every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Inner Circle Network. I'm Lord Podcast. Come check us out. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Cognito, and on Xbox as Lord Cognito as well. But yeah, the show was lit. Great topics, great show as always, Lord Dealer.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. Thanks for coming on. We had a big panel today, man. Normally we stick to like 5 people maybe, but we had one more than that. So that's good stuff. A little different for us. So once again, guys, thanks for showing up. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for showing the support. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the foot job. We're out.